Today is October 10th. The Yankees are vacationing and we're applying for a job in their front office. Let's do it. Let's talk some Yanks.
Talking Yanks with old John Boy and Jake. Recaps galore, weekly awards, stat lines, steam and hot takes. Get your Yankees news from these two fine dudes. It's time for Talkin' Yanks. Talking Yanks with old John Boy and Jake. Talking Yanks with old John Boy and Jake.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Yanks, presented to you by SeatGeek. Use code JohnBoy Postseason to get 10% off any ticket. It doesn't matter if you've used a code of ours before. It can be the oldest account known to man. You use code JohnBoy Postseason and you get 10% off any ticket of your choice at any venue that's hosting the event you want to go to. If you want to go check out another team playing the postseason, you can use it, or you can go see a concert or the ballet with your significant other. Jake, how you doing?
James, Davis, original SeatGeek users. I'm doing well. I mean, there's been no more real Yankee oomphs. I think during wild card week, this city had actually a little heat wave where it was like 80 during the day and the nights was like really nice weather, like kind of would have been badass wild card. It wouldn't have felt like October, but it would have been like a nice time at the stadium. There's a little bit of, oh yeah. And then I just saw a guy today getting lunch, Aiden, who's a big Yankees fan. He's like, no Yankees baseball, huh? I was like, yeah, because they were bad. So what we need to do is be better. And I hope that's what the Yankees are currently trying to figure out, or at least why other teams are better than them.
No postseason press conference yet.
No.
Yeah, a little weird.
Doesn't that usually happen?
It's now
by
been
then?
like
it's
a
been
full
a little
week.
bit.
I mean,
did they take a while last year?
Maybe they just normally plan on having it the third week of October. So that's kind of what works for them.
Interesting stuff. We are watching a lot of ex-Yankees in the postseason. Jake, a lot of people have been tweeting about this. I think they're kind of forced feelings that Sonny Gray, Evaldi, Monty, Lance Lynn's going to make a start soon.
Rangers' whole rotation.
Hicks, Heaney,
Joe Mantiply.
Yeah, that's a good one.
D-Rob was in the postseason.
He barely made it.
Schwarber,
Harper,
Machado.
No, didn't make it. But honestly, do you? Because I see people tweeting about this. Oh, and I'm like, none of them are really like. Besides Monty, that's the only one that somewhat stings. But also, I feel so happy for him.
Yeah, I mean, his last start wasn't so great. I mean, Evaldi was.
Evaldi's not a situation the Yankees messed up.
It was a Yankee lifetime ago.
I know. I don't even think of him as a Yankee.
Sonny Gray. I mean, we've done that numerous times. Nobody's missing Gallo. So
the Sonny Gray pain, if you want to call it that, is just the same that it's always been. It's like, he's good elsewhere.
I think it's just funny now that like we live in an MLB grid world where everyone that's probably listening to this has tried MLB grid at this point, that it's funny that there's some teams that are really tough to link up because they don't really mix it up in free agency. They're a smaller market team. That I think it's funny that the Yankees, I think because they go out and get free agents and they move on from guys, the Yankees have a lot of bodies floating around out there that, which Yankee fan was banging the table to keep Heendog? Like, so don't pretend like you're in your Yankee feel seeing him on the bump. Although I'm happy for him.
I guess it's again similar to Sonny, like more just like, mad that trade even happened. Like,
does any team out there, the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, there's no Yankees on either of those teams?
Joe Mantiply.
Oh, Lance Lynn.
Lance Lynn's a Dodger. Miguel Castro's a Diamondback.
Miguel Castro also doesn't count.
Yeah, also not.
I mean, Monty and Hicks are the only ones that really count. Like 5+ years with the Yankees. They traded
Chapman's
Monty.
on the Rangers.
Oh, Chapman counts. Chapman got the save or got the hold in game 1. I did a video on it that's coming out soon, and he threw like 2 strikes. It's really funny. Just, like never. He threw 2 first pitch fastballs right down the middle, and then didn't hit the zone ever again, and got out of it.
Well, roll the 2-ball, kid.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, we covered that. Go all the ex-Yankees. Monty is the only one I find myself truly rooting for, though. To be not in a way like I still am endeared to you. Like I don't root against Sonny. I like seeing him pitch well, but it's not like, I want him to do well. That's how I feel. And no one else really
Still
has
feel
that.
some ownership.
Yankee minor league.
Like D-Rob, when he was on other teams, I had that for him. I was like, I want him to do good.
If the Blue Jays were on a run, we'd be feeling that about Chad Green, who I think did well in the one wild card game he got into.
Goosey Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess this is a little wider than Yankee thoughts at this point, but, as we audit the team and we apply to the front office, Justin Pennick, who was on the stream with me last night, he comes in as a nervous baseball fan. He's like, I don't really know much, but it's like, he listens to John and Susan all the time. Like he knows some ball.
Watches baseball.
He was asking about roster construction because he was trying to compare it to football. And like football, really the only way to build is through the draft because these guys are young for the first 4 years and their body's not as beaten down. So he's like, how are these teams building? And we walked through, you need at least some youth. The Braves have high-level youth that they've added some pieces to. Philadelphia has youth that's accented by superstars that they went out and got. I did think it was funny, organizations and where can you be good and where can you be better. And it was funny seeing the Dodgers kind of execute what the Yankees bullpen strategy has been the past couple years of getting the last out of the inning and rolling it over. But more so, I did a head tilt seeing Ryan Brazier, who had been a dead duck in the Red Sox pen, with the Dodgers, who have transformed a lot of pitchers and hitters' careers at this point, looking nasty on the mound. And then Thompson, who was a Rays ditched piece, he's been lights out for the Snakes in the playoffs. So I know the bullpen has been one of the Yankees' areas of strength more or less the past couple years, but it's coaching matters at the major league level. Development matters along the way. Obviously, the value you're getting from your internationals, it all goes in the pot. But seeing Ryan Brazier out there popping BBs at 99 with wipeout pitches is like, damn. Like,
well, Sox just fired their pitching coach, so he's out. Stop tilting your head like a dog. Your whole world's crooked. He was a little less dogged.
They teach that, though. Look at Whitlock.
I know. That was what that... Snap your neck.
Maybe there was a friend of that. What was the scary show that came out?
Haunting of
House on the Hill?
Hill Manor.
Hill Manor?
I don't know. Yeah, the crooked neck guy. The Twins are similar to the Yankees, or old Yankees at least, because the Yankees might be different now, in saying, forget the draft. Not us. But we're going to get all the international 16-year-olds. I think 7 of the 9 starters for the Twins are like their own international signings. Something that was some crazy style like that. And the Yankees and them used to fight over guys a lot. Sano and Gary were the same year, and they were the top bidders. So, yeah, it's a fun question for Pennick to dive into because there's a lot of different ways teams go about building rosters. I don't know how the Yankees are going to do it in the future. They love international signing. They always have.
Well, and I do remember, going back to the Bomba Squad Twins, Juice Ball. The weakness of the Twins org has always been pitching, and they made a conscious effort. Sonny Gray was acquired via trade. Pablo Lopez acquired via trade. Joe Ryan acquired via trade. Duran acquired via trade. Pagan trade. They made a conscious effort to go out and acquire a lot of pitching to change that, while also tapping into new philosophies that has revitalized their whole organization. Where the Yankees need to do that on the offensive side.
Yanks traded for Pablo.
In a way,
fell through. Well, we're applying for a job with the Yankees, so we can help fix it if we get the job. Easy as that. Someone on Reddit that applied for a job last year said that this is the form they had him fill out before even getting an interview, and he put it on the internet, and now we're going to fill it out.
Okay.
And it's brought to us by?
Brought to us by Tommy John.
Ooh.
That means you're about to see a shot right above my groin because I have made the switch to Tommy John full time. I can tell you guys the whole story if you got time for it. It was my go-to. I wore it on my wedding day. I had one pair. I'd planned my week around it. In hindsight, just a little pathetic. If you like something that much, go and get it. So I did. I ordered a sampler pack. I said, what other Tommy Johns are out there? Got a grab pack of Tommy Johns. Turns out I like the 360 Sport because that's kind of who I am. Loaded up on them.
Might be even more
What was that?
pathetic that you had to try other styles out. Sports Jake. Get the 360 Sport, Know thyself.
Tommy John underwear. You need to check them out. Breathable, lightweight, moisture wicking, and you can get 20% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/Yanks. Save 20% at TommyJohn.com/Yanks. Go click the site for details. And if you're on our YouTube page, A, subscribe, and B, here's my boxers.
Nice.
Ooh. So,
Good
dinner,
stuff.
dinner and a show.
This really is a YouTube app.
Okay, are you ready, Jake? I haven't looked at this at all.
I think so.
There's a lot of questions. We might speed through some. We might stop and really think about others. So, question number 1. Which of the following players was more valuable on stolen base attempts? We should put this, see if you could in post, put them up on the screen too for people. But a runner,
Okay, that's number 1 on yours.
yeah.
Okay, mine's in a different order, so that's interesting.
Are you on the results? Are you on the poll?
I'm on the poll. I haven't answered the questions yet.
What?
Look at that. So maybe it's a random, so we can't copy
Yeah,
each
I
other's.
refreshed my questionnaire page, and it did shuffle the order on me just now.
So
yeah.
either way. So just state the question, and I'll meet you there.
All right. Which, or you want to do it and I can control find it? Okay.
I'm already there.
Which of the following players is more valuable on stolen base attempts? Runner A, 42 stolen bases, 23 caught stealing. Runner B, 12 stolen bases, 2 caught stealing. I would say not enough data
There
for gut instinct.
a lot of these are kind of job interview questions. Explain your answer.
12 stolen bases and 2 caught stealings is nothing. Like
Right,
that's
over
almost-
162 games. That's
it's just
almost
it's a wash.
yeah.
It's like
Runner
Like,
A.
oh, he picked a couple spots.
Runner A is a threat, but also a liability because he's
Yeah.
getting thrown out so much.
yeah.
I think you'd lean 12-2. It's a lot of caught stealings, but we are playing in gray.
More valuable on stolen base attempts. So, yeah,
Here's what I would say. I'd want player A, and I'd want to coach him.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's how they want. Well, they want you to think how you think. That's how I would think.
Right.
I'd say I'd want the top guy, and I'd want to coach him.
Yeah.
But the question isn't what you want. Who's more valuable?
Yeah, so
Player B
they're
has-
asking like.
So player B
which
has
of these
no
was
value.
better?
Like it's just like whatever. And then it's like Chase Headley probably did that. And then runner A, the 42 is pretty valuable. 23 is not.
Yeah, I wonder if, and this is a year ago, so this is before stolen bases, because 12 has become very much like Freddie Freeman this year, I think, has 20 stolen bases.
Yeah, this would have been. These are they're working.
This is hashtag
at the big league
hashtag
level.
old rules. Freddie Freeman had 23 stolen bases this year.
Yeah.
The year before these rules were implemented, he was 13-3.
So that's him.
So that's basically, would you rather have Freddie Freeman or, didn't Ohtani have silly caught stealing numbers because he doesn't care? I mean,
The Orioles and the
really.
Rangers guys have, I believe, silly.
Yeah, like the last year, Jorge Mateo went 35-9.
Are they trying to do an on-base game here?
Similar.
Well, the guy's on base a lot.
Yeah. For what it's worth, this isn't one of the ones I thought we would talk this long about.
Yeah, I think we can clear this. We got our points across.
Which did you choose?
I think we answered.
What's the most common answer?
83.8% voted for B.
I disagree. So I'm in minority already.
Look at that.
But it's the way they phrase the question, I guess.
Was more
Yes.
valuable.
I hate these
The
tests.
question is which player you want. I think a lot of people would answer the way you're answering.
Seems
I
like
want
player A
and
has-
to teach him how to pick spots better.
Player A has more coachable talent.
Yeah. Given no other information, which of the following players would you start tomorrow in a must-win game? Assume each has 500 plate appearances so far this season. So player A has an 850 OPS, 2 hits in his last 35 plate appearances, and player B has an 800 OPS and 13 hits in the last 35 plate appearances. I would start player B.
It's easily B for me.
Easily B.
I mean, you have a player that's hot. I mean, there could be a plate appearance loophole there if player A is walking a ton. And
Yeah.
that's the loophole, but I don't think it's meant to be that.
Well, I think it's meant to be that the 2 hits are homers, and then he's got a ton of walks. So that's how he gets the OPS
Sure.
high. Where the 13 hits, you're looking at, they're probably not slugging a lot at all.
Well, I think it's more of a hot thing because they do say 500 plate appearances, so that 850 and 800 OPS are across the season. So I think,
okay.
I think they're just trying to lean in the concept of, do you believe in hot or do you believe in 150 game sample size and staying with your guy? But 800 is such a good OPS. Like,
Yeah.
if this was an 850 OPS and a 700 OPS, I think that becomes a big conversation.
800 versus
But
950. Like we get to like a special place.
We're seeing it in the playoffs now. If you haven't been watching, if you're a Yankees fan and you're looking to get your fix, welcome back. We're drug men. Evan Carter is a rookie on the Texas Rangers, who were one of the most prolific offense in baseball this year. He just got slid up to the 5-hole. Now, he's like a big-time prospect, and he's been hitting a lot, but he's playing above in the lineup of Nathaniel Lowe, who's been like a back-to-back all-star first baseman. So, yeah, in the playoffs, you got to play the guys who are feeling it.
Yeah.
in this question being a 50-point difference in OPS, like I would take the hotter of the two.
You're both very good ball players. One of you is clearly hotter.
I wonder if this is like the Ford Voight vote from 2019.
65% voted B.
65% B?
Yeah,
Okay.
So just under 2 out of 3 people.
Okay. We'll take that.
Mike Ford, you know, 500 plate appearances. All right. Given no other information, which of the following catchers would you prefer to start tomorrow's game? Catcher ERA refers to the ERA of pitchers pitching when a particular catcher is catching. I mean, Yankees, if you have to explain that, who you're even hiring. What's the whole point? You think someone's going to do this quiz? Your whole quiz is to weed
Yeah,
out
you
people that
shouldn't-
don't
you
know
shouldn't list
baseball
that.
stuff, and you're explaining.
I mean, maybe they added that for the online Google form.
This guy recreating it might have
Okay.
added
yeah,
that.
that might
I
not
don't
have
know.
been on the sheet. Maybe it was. Who
It
knows?
might have been on the original.
I'm starting catcher A.
Catcher A, 850 OPS, a 4.25. Catcher ERA. Catcher B, 700 OPS, 350. This is one for me that I think it leaves a little gray out there. I'd want to know a little bit more of who's caught who and
Given
stuff.
no other information.
Right, given no other information, I think it is A. I'm with you. But, you know, we did see in the Braves game last night, they started Travis d'Arnaud over Sean Murphy, who the stats offensively are actually pretty similar to this. But Travis d'Arnaud had a history of catching Fried this year. Like, he was kind of Fried's guy. So that would be my only gray wiggle area, but I'd much rather lean the 850 OPS catcher. I mean, that's an impact player.
Yeah.
Similar to like that question before. Like there's an 850 and 700. That's substantial.
That's a real gap.
What's
That's a
the
real gap on offense.
what's the results?
This is the first one that's going to make you mad. Again, 64.2% voted for B.
Wow.
And it's not like a crazy difference. Like one run,
It's
I
not
guess,
that
is a big
crazy
difference
difference
in
in
ERA.
ERA.
But
I mean, ERA, that's half a run per start.
Yeah.
that's like
So that's
a
where,
known,
like
not real stat.
I half believe in catcher ERA. I think there's situationships where it comes into play. But to put it down on paper like this, I would cook the numbers very differently.
If this was,
All right.
if it was like a huge difference.
True or false? An elite reliever is worth less to a team that already has 6 elite relievers than to an overall equally talented team that has only 1 elite reliever. Assume both teams use standard 5-man rotations with starters who average 5 innings.
Interesting.
True, because the first team doesn't have as many high leverage innings to spread around. False, because you can never have enough elite relievers and the first team might end up having injuries. I mean, this is a sad question that the Yankees wrote in. I agree with them.
Yeah.
I think it's false, but this is the Yankees just looking for like confirmation
Right.
bias from the public.
We should put more in our bullpen, right?
You guys agree with us, right? A lot of relievers, always. It's not our fault they get hurt.
Meanwhile,
Guys, we don't think having extra good relievers is bad, but
No, but it is false. I mean, an elite reliever is worth the same no matter how stacked or unstacked the bullpen is. Come the postseason, you want to be deep
one
in that
options.
position.
it's just a dumb this is me going Miss Vito. We always reference my cousin Vinny on here. Like, the question's dumb. You need more good relievers. Good team or bad team. So more valuable, no.
54% said true.
Like that's I think the people are fine there. My Diamondbacks, like they added Paul Sewald, who like is extremely valuable for them, but you also just needed good relievers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is a sad Yankees question.
Sad Yankees question. We're doing something right?
You think we should add more good relievers even though we have other good relievers, right?
Because one guy says we have too many and we should go get some offense. Which,
I'd be with that guy.
yeah, if that was the question.
If that's
posed.
the vote, give me the more
I
offense.
think we're against the public more than with so far.
I think so.
Which element of a hitter's triple slash line is most important to his offensive value? I would miss veto this. I would,
Okay.
if I was to take this quiz, like if it was in pen and paper, I would just write void in big red letters and
is this
turn
the
that in.
triple slash line?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which elements of a hitter's triple slash line is most important? And I would refuse to answer this, and I would write, it's a bullshit question.
Yeah.
Signed Ms. Veto. And that's how I would turn this in. And then
Miss
Herb Brooks would say, I want the guy in net who didn't take the
Are you
test.
just combining the movies now?
Yeah.
You had Herb Brooks show up at that Alabama court.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Is this because I didn't take your test? I avoid that question.
This felt like a
Why?
lead out
It's a
one.
trick question.
It is a trick question. Yes, and this one is the perfect example of what we've been talking about, and we can only reference data points we have. Jim, you noted it on Talkin Baseball today. Go check it out if you haven't been listening. Austin Riley, who hits a game-winning, season-saving home run, wasn't his Marcus Timms A-swing. He got beat on the pitch. He released his top hand because he's doing anything to get the barrel of the bat on the ball with 2 strikes. It ends up being a homer because he's a very strong man, which the Yankees have some of those guys. But he's hitting. So all of this has to go into the equation. If you were to focus on one of these, you're dumb.
Dumb.
Weekly dumb.
If you put a gun to my head, I'd put on base percentage.
And
I think
you know,
so too.
by putting this out, we're putting a gun to the people's head, and the people did at a 74% clip vote on base percentage, 24% voted slugging percentage, which means 2% leftover voted batting average,
And that's just
presumably as a
wrong.
goof.
How about this? Give me 3 of each of those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Which of the following stats would most clearly indicate whether a hitter's 350 average is due for regression? So
this is the only question I knew coming in.
Okay. So the options are OPS, OPS plus, WOBA, BABIP, on base percentage, and slugging. And there's a right and wrong answer, kind of. I think there's two somewhat correct answers.
Yes.
It's BABIP and WOBA.
Yep.
Because those are the only kind of predictive stats. They're not result-based. They're like what-if based.
Right.
So batting average on balls in play would be my answer here.
Yeah, and I think again, if the Yankees are trying to get you in phrasing in questions on this, which we're not really sure, we've talked about BABIP a little bit. I think per each hitter, it should be evaluated. And, okay, you're not hired, kid.
No, you are hired, actually.
Evaluized?
Yeah.
This kid just made up a word. He's a whiz kid.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's the next Epstein. Theo. 350 average. It needs to be judged hitter on themselves year for year. Oh, Gary Sanchez has a 250 BABIP in his career. This year he has a 210. I would expect in the second half it's got a chance to go up. You can't compare it as like a league stat or team stat or anything. It's by player.
I agree. Of the following pitching stats, which is the most robust? And then they explain robust. Guys, just use the words. Yeah. They say value-driven or all-encompassing. Why don't you just change the question to be of all the following pitching stats, which is the most all-encompassing? What are you doing? I'm judging your quiz and you're being dumb.
I.e. value-driven, all-encompassing.
So this is almost a triple slash line situation.
Right.
WHIP, FIP, ERA, quality starts, left on base percentage. So which is the most all-encompassing? They're probably going for FIP here,
right?
But I don't agree with that. And I actually, Jake, I think I would. You might guess I'd choose quality start, but no, I think I'd choose WHIP for a starting pitcher.
So we are gonna make this starting pitcher only because it doesn't say that, but the fact it has quality starts on there, I think that's
Yeah, well, if it's reliever, it's a different
Divine
answer
robust one more time.
Value driven.
Okay.
All encompassing.
Okay.
And in case you didn't know the question, the words we just used on this question, here's some other words we could have used, but we opted not to.
Robust.
We're the Yankees.
Good energy drink. Of the following pitching stats, most robust. I suppose listing it as most robust, I would lean FIP because you are trying to get the whole league. That's not how I would want to measure my pitching necessarily because I do think guys that get hurt for having bad defense, you need to know how to judge that. But people that use their defense shouldn't be penalized for that. And sometimes FIP does, I feel like. It's
a big advantage. Pablo Lopez gave a great interview after his 7 innings against the Astros. And one of his main talking points was, I needed to get them to hit the ball with my guys and trust my defense and get quick outs. I would go with WHIP because for your starting pitcher, I want them to go deep in the games. I don't want them to walk guys and put them on base. I don't want them to give up hits in big innings and always be in trouble. I think it's indicative of pitching deep into games. If you have a lower WHIP, you're probably having easier innings and getting deeper in the games and getting outs. If your WHIP is really high, that means you were Carlos Rodon this year. So, but I get they want FIP, but I just think you should pitch to your defense, especially with the shift and all that. You want ground balls.
Yeah, I would be interested.
I don't hate FIP, but I would choose WHIP.
Because if
you're picking one of these.
So if we're taking out quality start percentage and left on base percentage for
those
now,
are the bottom two.
Left on base percentage,
no one's
odd if we're doing basically 4 starting pitching
that
categories.
Was to weed out a real rat.
Quality start percentage, nice, and we'll give you a list of some of the game's best
I think
pitchers.
we actually like that more than most people. But
I think on a given year, ERA, you could almost tell some of the given outliers.
I like ERA.
Or guys that might fluctuate the next year or two.
I also like it as like result, like how did you do?
This is how
But
you
this
did.
is much more how would you build a team?
yeah,
Right.
we're trying to evaluate a guy for the future.
I would love to see a list of the past couple years, FIP and WHIP, and see if anything stood out to me as like, oh, well, that's a little bit of a loophole. Because I don't know, like Wheeler has been a FIP king the past couple years, and he's looked fantastic. And I heard Philly people rightfully so saying like, hey, whenever anyone mentions best pitchers, no one jumps to Zach Wheeler, and he probably deserves it, but he plays in a bandbox, and his defense used to be bad. It's gotten better. But it's like, okay, yeah, you need to take that into consideration.
Do you want to know the FIP and WHIP leaders for this year?
Sure.
So the WHIP leader for this year was Cole,
Nice.
I can.
then Eflin, then Kirby, then Bradish, then Burns. Those are the top 5.
Okay.
Now, Cole, Bradish were also top 5 for ERA. Only 2 that are both. FIP, you have Sonny Gray, Strider, Gossman, Eflin, Steele. Bradish drops to 10, Cole drops to 8. Wheeler 6th.
Okay.
So,
Snell
Feels like
dodges both those charts, but ERA.
yeah, but I actually like Cole stopped going for strikeouts and started going for
Yeah.
balls in play and had a better season and lasted the
He's
whole
still,
season.
in the neighborhood.
And he's still top 10.
Yeah.
So, Strider has a lot of strikeouts. But he walks. And then Snell is a complete outlier because
Alien.
he's walking guys on purpose.
Doesn't care.
He basically yelled,
mind
fuck
walking.
FIP.
Doesn't
Fuck
care.
All right.
The number one answer was FIP at 70%. And
I could
then
probably tell
and
you all the
Whip
number one
was-
answers.
WHIP was
Only people
19.
taking this are the Fangraph nerds.
A little bit. WHIP second, and then bottom 3.
And I think by doing all of this, we're trying to find out the Yankees getting better help. And this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Whoa. Do you ever feel like your brain is getting in its own way? Yep. Like you know what you should do, what's good for you, but you just can't do it. Therapy helps you figure out what's holding you back so you can work for yourself instead of against yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed, convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Fill out a brief questionnaire, like the one we're looking at now, but it'll get you matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch anytime for no additional charge. So, make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. That's nice. Visit BetterHelp.com/Yanks today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Yanks. Click the link in the description.
Given no other information, which of the following hitters would you pick to hit with the game on the line in the 9th inning of a must-win game? Player A, 750 OPS, 350 average with runners in scoring position this season. Player B, 800 OPS, 250 average with runners in scoring position this season. I don't know. I feel like all of these are like, part of me is like, I guess people will choose the 50 points better OPS and 100 points better average with runners in scoring position. But I also feel like I'm just projecting anger towards like these thought processes that I don't even know if that's the favorite. I'm choosing A. And they choose A.
Yeah, I mean, I would lean A here, especially because the stat we have is OPS, and something that I've been adamant about, and I think is true. Like I think on a given year, I've seen Aaron Hicks have an 800 OPS season. I've seen DJ LeMahieu hang around the 750 range. I think contact bats help in those spots. Like I think pitchers lock in. I think the walk is off the table. I think we just talked about Snell. Like, Snell's a guy who will walk you instead of giving you a cookie. Like, there's, Hicks will obviously take the walk, and I think there's times and places, but runners in scoring position, you need a hit. And the pitcher's going to come at you, you need a hit. So I want the batting average guy.
And this is where the Yankees front office and Boone seem to have a disconnect, because he'll pinch hit IKF or the contact bat and then tell you that's why, but they don't really provide him with those players. Like, right. IKF's a contact bat. He's like 250 average guy.
He's a ball and play bat.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike out a lot.
Yeah. So I would go A.
Yeah, the people agreed with you.
Nice.
And again, I think it probably comes down to 800 and 750 isn't a big difference. Wonder what the voting would be if it was 850 versus 750 or a little more. But yeah, 57% went A. So it was close.
Next one is, which of the following hitters would you most want to have on your team? 240 batting average, 280 on base, 550 slug. So the Yankees. So that's their ideal player.
They wish they got that this year.
Yeah.
550 slug.
Is that like Carter's line when he was with them?
No, I mean, a 550 slug is like, that's someone who's mashing.
Gallo, what they thought Gallo was going to be?
I mean, Gallo is an OPP guy. Like, I'm trying to see, like, Judge was a 613 slug this year. No one else was in the fives. Let's see if I can find a better example from years past. I mean, 500 slugging, that's... Okay. I mean, that's supposed to be a...
Gallo did that when he was 23 years old.
But, I mean, he was a high OBP guy then, right?
333, yeah.
So this is supposed to be like a boom or bust. When they hit it, it's powerful.
Yeah.
Doubles and homers.
Hitter B, 260 batting average, 420 on base, and 410 slug.
Okay, so that's kind of an all-around balanced hitter, not a lot of power.
But on base is really good.
Yeah.
Hitter C, 320 average, 350 on base, 480 OPS. The reason why these questions are fucked up is because you give me one of each in a lineup.
Right. That's kind of what I said before.
Except I don't really need A.
Yeah, for this one, you could have 1A, but you also don't need it. Like, if you got a guy that's getting on a 420 clip, just... Like, I think what these equations have missed out on, and when you're talking analytics in front office, is like, A, a lineup needs to be balanced. I think that's one of the questions we haven't gotten to yet, where you need different looks, whether that's left, right, switch, on-base contact power. Like, that affects how the pitcher pitches, and I think that makes it a more difficult game. That being said, like, this is so ridiculous because if in today's baseball you could have a lineup of 320, 350 guys, you'd win every game. So... Give me that guy.
Yeah. A question like this one does not take into account who you already have or who you're picking them.
Yeah, but if you could make a lineup out of all of them, like Jake's saying, you would choose C. You would choose the 320, 350 guy.
Like in Major League Baseball this year, there was 5 batters who hit 320 or better of qualified. So that's where...
Well, what was any of their OPS? Was it 830?
I mean, the lowest one is Arise at 861, and he had a 354 batting average. The other guys are Acuna, Freddie, Diaz, and Seager. So it's an elite list.
Because the two B and C here are the same OPS, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, it becomes a question of composition.
So, like, yeah...
I guess an interesting comp, Bo Bichette this year, 300 batting average, 340 on base, and 814 OPS. So fairly contact-driven with a little bit of pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go show me a lineup of Bo Bichette. So I'm in.
Results-wise, hitter A was a distant third. B and C were tight. B... had 47% of the vote. C had 45.
I love the public's vote there.
I'm going a little Miss Vito, by the way. 420 would have been the highest OBP in baseball this year.
Yes.
Give me some more. Give me some real numbers.
Well, I think they're trying to go to the extents of it.
There's one question that is about extremes that I'm excited to talk about whenever we get there.
So this one, given no other information, which of the following hitters would you prefer to have on your team?
Yes.
Yeah, this void. I just say nah. I'd write nah on this one. It's
I'd rather talk about real stuff.
hitter A is 300 batting average, 450 on base, 600 slugging. So that's Judge. I mean, Judge wasn't 450 on base. Is that Bonds? Or
Looks like a
zero
Bonds,
batting average, 0 slugging, 1.
He's an automatic walk.
He just gets on base and walked every single time.
This question is, you know what? I'm going to go work for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, this question is, I don't want to work for
Thank
you
you
guys.
for having me. Appreciate your guys' time today, but
See you later.
oh my God.
Yeah, this one was the biggest one discussed in the results thread about like how the public voted.
Ugh, I can't even. I would just say, you lose.
I think you're missing out that if a player gets on base every time,
He
he will never get out.
It was and the vote came out 50.5% picked hitter A and 49.5% picked hitter B. And then half the comments are, how are people even considering picking the guy who literally can't get out? And the other half is, how are you picking the guy that cannot drive in a run unless the bases are loaded? And
I can't
he's
believe
not a
people are
plus
debating
base
it.
runner.
Next one is, which of the following could cause a player's W or X WOBA to be higher than his WOBA? Hey, this is like a real question that if you're hiring people, like, do you know these terms? Which of the following could cause a player's X WOBA to be higher than his WOBA? So X stats are expected stats. And WOBA is weighted on base
Average.
average, weighted on base average.
I think so.
Hitting into a lot of hard hit outs, picking up a lot of weakly hit singles. Wait, so his expected WOBA was higher. So hard hit outs would be there.
Which of the following could cause a player's X-WOBA to be higher than his WOBA? Yeah. Which
Yeah. This one feels like there's just a right answer.
this is the Yankees doing pounding their chest and being like, absolutely. But it's not factoring some of the shifting stuff we've talked about. I don't think this takes in running, which after watching Donaldson and Gary and Stanton and Voit and all of these players try to limping Gio, like, guess what? Those didn't factor in.
What if that 1,000 on base percentage guy was legless, no strike zone,
Right.
and an instant out? People got to think. Do we want to answer that one or no?
I think we did.
Oh, hard hit outs. Okay. Given no information, which of the following players would you pick to start today's game? I'd be out, dude. This is why I didn't finish the SATs. I just turned it in. Hitter A. Do you have this one?
Given no other, I have them, but there's a lot of given. So
Do you want to?
given no other information.
Which of the following? Oh, hitter A is 240, 305, 475. I'd just straight up skip this if I was taking this test. At this point, I would be out.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Can we skip it?
Well, you need to tell the people why, because they might
There's
not
too
see
much
this.
shit. I haven't read past the first slash line. There's too much stuff.
Basically, what this is would you rather have good or regular season stats, but play the matchup? Like, hitter A in this one has the worst statistics, but he's 13 for 18 with 4 homers against the starting pitcher. Here's my news flash. I think you start that guy, and let me introduce you to Enrique Wilson.
Or Bryce Harper and Raiso Iglesias. They just didn't pitch him because Harper owns them.
And the people hammered that guy.
That matters.
Okay. Given no other information, which of the following pitchers would you most want to be on your team next year? 60 innings. They all pitched 60 innings. Pitcher A and pitcher C had 90 strikeouts. Pitcher B had 60. Pitcher A didn't walk a lot of guys, 10. Pitcher B walked 30. Pitcher C walked 40.
You left out a couple stats.
What did I leave out?
Well, unless you're looking at a different question, it has those, ERA, and then saves and blown saves.
Yeah, I was going left to right.
Okay.
3 ERA for pitcher A, who's got the 90 Ks. The best ERA is the guy who walks a lot of people, the 2.5 ERA. And then they have saves and blown saves. I don't care.
Okay. Next.
Do you? None of those are predictive stats.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
I'd go with C.
I would go with C. That's a guy that had 50 saves in a year, which A, that's no joke, and B, like those final 3 outs matter. I realize there's lanes, and we've had a lot of discussions like should you have a flexible bullpen where you can use your guy in the 8th inning if you need it, and I do believe in that, but again, 50 saves and 5 blown saves with those stats, that's...
He walks a lot of guys, so I guess that's why people might not pick him.
I think the answer is supposed to be A, and like saves don't matter because that guy has the least walks and tied for the most strikeouts, that predictively he would have the best next year.
But the worst ERA, yeah. I don't know. Of the following hitting stats, which is most robust? Value-driven, all-encompassing. WOBA, weighted runs created plus, OPS, total bases, on-base percentage. I never have fully gotten into weighted runs created plus, so it might be that, but I haven't ever taken that deep dive.
I watched a 5-minute WOBA video yesterday just to prepare me for this, and actually kind of didn't help. A little bit of me, a little bit of that's on me, because I kind of have the concept. Yeah, the weighted runs created plus, I think some of the ballpark factors I appreciate but still don't, like the fact that Coors, what that did to DJ a little bit and how that can cook some of their numbers, but I don't know how much of that is Coors, and I don't know how much it affects Fenway and other stuff. I think the answer is supposed to be WOBA. Use every stat. Appreciate them differently.
This next one's fun. This next one's different. Do you think player opt-outs are better for the player, better for the team, or mutual beneficial? I'm going to say mutually beneficial.
What?
Or player opt-outs? Player opt-outs are
Those
better.
are for the player.
Player.
Only.
Yeah. Which of the following pitchers would you prefer to have on your team? 4.2 innings pitched gives up 0 runs every time. 6 innings pitched gives up 2 runs every time.
This is a fun Jimmy one.
For me, it's B easily.
Yeah.
Like, without a doubt.
I think that one's more of a conversation, but I think it depends on the rest of the team. Like if I have other innings eaters and you can promise me 4.2 shutty, I'll take that. But I think in generalities, I do like the 6 and 2 more.
Yeah. I mean, over time, that's so much less bullpen.
Right. And that bullpen isn't guaranteed to give you clean outing anyways. That yeah.
It's a 3.00 ERA. I mean, it's
right.
A really good
It's a
pitcher.
quality start.
That would be top 10 ERA this year.
I think it is interesting, especially playoff time. If you show me these two before a game, I'm pretty interested in that 4.2 shot.
Yeah, there's times like you're
you
saying.
Can promise me 4.20.
I was like, what Snell was doing.
Right.
No, I'm taking the 3 ERA dude who gives you 6 innings every time, and I'm fucking so excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in the generalities of what this quiz would be, I would take B.
I mean, how many pitchers this year had an ERA under 3?
Ideally, give me 4 Bs and 1 A.
How many pitchers had an ERA under 3 this year?
6.
5. Steele just missed it, 3.06. So, you're talking about a top pitcher in the whole league.
Right. How many had an ERA of 0?
Yeah, but 4.2 or 4.66 times 30.
You got enough good bullpen back there?
139 innings pitched.
Well, how many elite relievers do you have in your bullpen?
So it's 40. Oh, if they start every start for a season, it's 40 innings more that you're getting.
I can burn out a bullpen guy.
180 innings versus 130. So I'm going 6.6 and 2.
Do you think you're getting the job? I don't think so.
I'm unapplying.
Yeah.
If this is real, have you ever had to work for a job that gave you something like this?
Ooh, did I ever have to take a quiz for a job? Not to get in, I don't think so.
Like
We're going for
I'm just
competitive
worried that like the
fields.
personalities of the people that do this to get a job are just never going to push. You need some Jim Craigs on the team. Not going to take your stupid test.
Isn't that so funny?
Like, if you were to take a personality test, you'd be like, hey, hire some people that refuse to take it.
Right.
Because they might push some new ideas on you.
We need 3 guys.
This is just going to be a bunch of people desperate to do whatever you say.
We need one nerd that every question is just not a conversation in their head. Love it. Fire me up. We need one person who thinks these are all super dumb and isn't going to answer them. And we need one guy, split the gap.
They
But I don't think the Yankees
they
have
probably
that.
hire everyone that gets closest to what they want it to be, so they're hiring all like-minded people.
Yes. 1,000%.
That's crazy. Which of the following pitchers would you prefer to have on your team?
Tim?
100% quality starts, 65% quality starts, 350 FIP, 450 FIP.
Ha!
Miss Vito.
Yeah.
That's a Miss Vito. Team A and Team B. Nope, too many words for me. In which of the following scenarios is it smarter to run a contact play with a runner on third?
Interesting.
With 0 outs or with 1 out?
Oh, man. The contact play Yankees.
I mean, they run it all the time, but the answer has to be with 1 out. With 0 outs, you can still score on an out. So you would stay put.
Yeah, and this is another. This
one's a weed
This
out.
might be the one that throws me out of the room, just because it's like, well, who's hitting, who's running? Like, to do this in a silo is the problem with analytics. To do this as one question on a quiz with no
I think this
data.
question is them looking for the, like, you know, they view this one the same as, like, when is it okay to get thrown out at third? And it's never with 0 outs, never with 2 outs. And then, yeah, 75% of people said 1 out because that's the right answer.
Everything that guy just said is bullshit. Thank you.
That's my answer. It's a
Should
different.
we just play My Cousin
Just
Vinny
play
for an
the
episode
rest
of
of the
Talkin'
episode.
Yanks? Probably get some good views.
I'm gonna
Might
try
not
and
be-
I'm gonna try and find one that's a different than what we've like the things we've done.
Should find the last. Well, here's one that's at the bottom of my page. It's wordy, but let's see if it works. Team A and B both currently have a 2-WAR third baseman. 2 teams have a 2-WAR third baseman. Bang. And they have the option of signing a 5-WAR third baseman to 1 year, 15 for next season. Okay. Team A is currently projected to win 70 games. Bad team. Team B is currently projected to win 88 games next season. Given no other information, which team would benefit more from signing the 5-WAR third baseman?
The team that's projected to win 88 games gets them into the postseason. What does fucking 75 games give you?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could put as a both teams benefit equally would be you could trade that third baseman and cash in at the trade deadline.
I mean, sure, if we're allowed to
Right.
like add on stuff.
Right.
I mean, technically, both teams benefit equally, but no. I mean, one team goes from on the outskirts of the playoffs to a playoff team,
Right.
and the other one goes from on the outskirts of the playoffs to on the outskirts of the playoffs. So I would say
Still
it's-
needing one more big move.
Yes, I would say Team B. It's like puts them over the edge where the other
my,
doesn't.
my nerves reading that question is like, Are they looking for somebody to say, well, they in both cases you'd be getting 5 more WAR? And
What does the public say on this one?
the vote went almost 50% to B, and 38% went to both would benefit equally, and then A was by far third.
Is that what you would do?
I'd be curious what anybody's like and explain your answer is after, but
Yeah, I mean, I think everything you said is right. That my only caveat is, if I'm trading that guy and I'm getting assets back at the end, that could help Team A more in the future.
Yeah.
But if that in this silo that we're creating doesn't exist, it's easily Team B. It does nothing for Team A.
does the 2 or third baseman you got have value that other teams might want?
Right.
Does he have something else he can do? Can you move him to second? Or
If
there's
this
lot
was a
of
Yankees
things.
test, I'd say should have kept Gio.
Don't trade for Donaldson if that's the question.
Oh, my goodness. I just read one and I'm done.
And he's done. Thank you, guys.
Do you want to hear it?
You tell me.
Your starter has a 320 FIP on this. So the Yankees just fucking only look at FIP. Good to know. Good to know. That's why they get all these sinker ball relievers that get put balls on the ground and get hits or errors, or Clay can't field his position, and they see nothing wrong with it because it doesn't hurt his FIP. And that's what all they look at. Jesus Christ. Your starter has a 320 FIP on the season and has thrown 5 shutout innings so far, 18 batters faced, in today's must-win game. Yankees don't believe in must-win games. He has thrown 71 pitches so far. You have 5 rested relievers in your bullpen with FIPs between 320 and 340 for the season. And you are currently winning 1-0. 1-0. Given no other information, what would you do for the 6th inning? My answer, go fuck yourselves.
I was going to say shove it up your butt.
And I'm out. This is a full audit. And if this is how you're hiring people, you're just hiring a bunch of like-minded nerds that are going to do whatever you say. That's a terrible way to hire people.
Cash, let us know how we did. Did we get the job?
Maybe Cash Herb Brooks us. I'm going to take your test. I take your stupid test.
Maybe Herb Dean's us.
Actually, we're the first people that ever told them this quiz sucks, and we're hired.
Here's your quiz. Guy crying.
I'll be here on Monday.
Is that the end?
You guys
We're
need.
good?
I think so.
We're good on those?
Yep.
All right. Go Yanks. Tell them, Grams.
Go Yankees.
Subscribe.
Listen this far.
True or false? Openers can work for a few games, but trying to use them in 40 to 50 games per year would be an unsustainable strategy.
The heck?
True.
Nerd
Almost half
alert.
of people said false to that.
What?